Hello there, everybody. Hope everyone's having an amazing day, night, and evening. So, the topic of this video is going to be about darkness and what is darkness. And I just feel that a lot of people don't really know themselves. A lot of people really don't understand themselves, and I really feel like this topic will definitely help a lot of people in understanding more about who they are and why they're here. So, why darkness? A lot of people are mostly focused on the light, which is good. Light is good. But a lot of people need to understand darkness as well because you can't have one without the other. And as humans, we are both light and we are both darkness. But a lot of us tend to shy away from darkness and tend to mostly focus on our light. But we don't know that what is in the darkness must come into the light. So, just to kind of dive right into this, what is the darkness exactly? To me, I would say the darkness is the things you don't like about yourself, the things that are a mystery to yourself, the things you don't know, um, painful things, what have you, things like that. And I'm just gonna give like 3 examples on personal things for me that I've learned about the darkness and pretty much how it amplified into the light. So, if you want to start with a visual like a seed, you have to put a seed into the ground. It's in the dirt, it's in darkness, and things like that. The seed has to literally rip open, bust apart, and grow. A lot of people don't see it because it's underground, but all of its growing and its nutrients and all of that is coming under the ground. Eventually, it grows enough and it pops up above land or the light. So just kind of going from there, I'll just kind of start from there and you'll see how this all like ties together. So for me, I always say that I love the dark because I get to explore and learn things about myself that I went through. And I've not gonna say I've been through a lot of things, but I've experienced things that may have shaped, well, that definitely shaped me to who I am now. So I wrote 3 things down so I can stay on track, and I'll just start with things I don't like. Me personally, I do not like to embarrass myself, and why is that? That is because I went through when I was younger, I did something and it embarrassed me, and like the whole classroom was laughing, and I did not like that feeling for nothing. And I guess at that point, I vowed to never ever embarrass myself in front of people because I just didn't like that feeling. And I took that with me for some time now, and even to this day, I still fight it, but I learned why it happened, because I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I had this programming that blocked me. I wanted to know, like, why is that? Why is it that I don't like to embarrass myself? So once I got the answer, I knew exactly what to do to change it. And it served me as a good thing because it's kind of funny embarrassing myself now. Like, I'd laugh, other people laugh. It's a great way to make friends because they're laughing at you for doing something really stupid, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just did that, and they're like laughing at you, and then you get to laugh. So it's like this awkward laugh, but it makes everything funny. And I like it because it gets me to laugh at myself and keep everything not serious. And it's it it's pretty funny. But I learned that that fear or that dislike caused a limitation on me. I do not like to be limited. So if I'm afraid to embarrass myself, I mean, how is it I'm gonna go do different activities with the thought of I might embarrass myself in front of people? And I just said, nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's not for me because I'm gonna embarrass myself. Don't get me wrong, there are some things I'm like, nah, that's just not for me. It's not, it doesn't fit my forte. So, but that's different. But I learned that, and so now, because I've learned that, I tend to do things a little bit more just to get out of that to embarrass myself a little bit or laugh at myself. So it was something that I really didn't like about myself, that I went in to find the source of it, and I changed it to something that I like. So I used something, darkness, to be amplified in the light for myself. I grew into that sense, and now it's just become who I am. So another thing as far as like darkness and stuff is non-caring versus caring now. Up until about maybe 3 years ago, maybe three, possibly 4 years. Anyways, I graduated in 2011, out of high school in 2011. So up until this point, so we're gonna go sometime to change, about maybe a good year, whatever. Sometime around that in high school and before, I was a very non-caring person. I mean, I'm not in the sense of like a regular like non-caring. Like I absolutely did not care. If I didn't like you, it's really bad. Like if something happened to you really badly, and it don't let it happen in front of me, and it happened in front of me, and I did not like you, like not speaking this, but you got hit by a vehicle in front of me, and I didn't like you, I didn't care. I would probably get on my phone and talk to a friend and say, "Hey, what are we doing tonight?" And that's just how I was. Like I was just a very non-caring person. And people would tell me things, I would look at them and I'm like, I really don't give two two gooses about what you're saying right now. Like your life is pointless to me right now. Like, well, like you just waste. Like I'm mad that you just wasted my time telling me about your problems. Like I was very non-caring. It was bad, and you know, I had to do some soul searching, and what I found was the reason why is because I was hurt a lot growing up. Not by family or anything like that, but it was mostly about people who I was kind of close with. And, I was always there for them, but, a lot of people weren't there for me. And so it caused me to be, you know, pretty mean. Like I was like, F it. If nobody doesn't care about me, then why should I care about other people? Who cares? So, majority of that time, I grew up being a very non-caring person. And, later on down the line, when I got in business, I had to learn to work with people. And the first thought of mine was like, oh, that means I'm gonna actually have to care and like people again. Oh, this is gonna be very hard. Like, gosh, I really don't like people, but okay. And that's just how I was. But now I care about people a lot. If something's happening, I would like to know, especially someone who's close to me. I'd like to do anything I can to help the person out and things like that. And, you know, that was something that was very dark about myself. And I didn't try to hide it, don't get me wrong, but that was just something very dark about myself. And I just had to figure out, why I was the way that I was so that I can change, into being, change to be a better person. And it was because I was hurt a lot. It was a very painful situation, but, I learned that, hey, those people weren't there. I didn't feel like they were there for me, but I also learned that I also did not communicate how I truly felt. So it was really more my fault because I didn't communicate because I just thought people should know. And because of that, that caused me to feel that way. So now I communicate things more. That whole experience has taught me the negative end of the spectrum versus the positive end of the spectrum. The positive end is that I learned to communicate how I feel more, and also be there for people regardless, because I would want someone there for me, and thankfully I do have those people in my lives now. And so that lesson just served me to understand more about myself. I didn't let it that just stay there and me just become a non-caring person. I went in, learned, I grew, and now all of those lessons that I've learned, I can use that into the light. And now when I meet other people who were just like me, I instantly know why they are the way they are. I instantly know, most people in this world don't have people that actually care for them. And just to be that person that actually cares, it just makes a big difference. So I would have never got that if I never really got in the dark parts of myself and learned. And, that's kind of like a gist of what I'm talking about. Like, you get what I'm saying. So, you may have more painful situations than I do. And, those painful situations, if you look at it from a different perspective and ask yourself, what did I learn from this? And, some of you may say, well, I went through this and now, I don't want no new friends or this, that, and the other. This pissed me off. And it's just like, no, look at it from a different perspective. What is that you learned? Look at the people who are involved. Look at it, and, like scan through it much more clearly. Like, what is it that you can learn from that? What did you get out of that? Now, with that information you got, how can you use that for good? But you can't do that unless you're willing to go in the dark parts of yourself and learn those things. Um, for me, like I said, there a different aspect as far as pain and things you don't want to go through is the mysteries about yourself. Like, there are things that you don't know about yourself, and there are things that a lot of other people don't know about yourselves. Um, and in that, you get to discover so much of like who you are. You may have a hidden talent. You may do something different you didn't know, but you won't know unless you try. And all of that is in the dark. It's a mystery to you, and you just have to be willing to explore that mystery. And you know, the whole point of this is just like the darkness about yourself provides a huge amount of information that can be amplified about yourself into the light. But you have to be willing to go into the darkness and understand that it's not what people tell you that it is. It's honestly those parts of yourself that you really are kind of hesitant in exploring. Um, it's a lot of things, but it's honestly the best thing for you to do because you heal yourself actually in the process of going into the dark and learning and understanding these things about yourself. There's so many benefits of just going into the dark because once you go in there, it's just like you being the seed. You went through all of that stuff you had to bust open, and now all of that stuff that you went through and experienced is now gonna grow you into that huge tree, and you're just gonna be like all of that stuff is meant to make you who you are, gear you towards your purpose, and be who you're supposed to be. So that's kind of my piece on the darkness. Hopefully this gave you a different perspective on just diving into the darkness, learning more about yourself, actually getting to know yourself better because honestly, some of us are older than 20, and some of us 30, 40, 50, and 60, and don't even know stuff about yourself. And I'm not gonna say it's sad because it's nothing that's like more of a judgment because it's not sad. It's just a lot of people haven't been taught how to, and I just hope that this is maybe something that you could use to um, get to know yourself more. And just to leave you with something instead of telling you to do it, like let me actually give you a solution on how. Me personally, I like to meditate and I clear my mind and I just focus on finding a solution to a problem. In this case, more about myself. I have to ask myself in meditation, why is it that I'm like this? So maybe, meditation will work for you. If you need to go to I'm not gonna say a therapist because I can't tell you to do that. I just don't feel like you should go to a therapist. That's just me. I just feel like you can just have a sit down, nice cup of hot tea by yourself, look out into the sand, the water, the forest, and ask yourself these questions. And whatever relaxes you, even if it's just laying down, just ask yourself why. Write stuff down on a piece of paper. Why am I the way I am? And just see what comes to you. And as you're writing it down, you get to see it on paper and make solutions to it, or find solutions to it. Another thing is, talk to someone you're very close with, the best friend. Be open, let them know this is what you went through, and find solutions. It's someone you can trust. Let me say that. Someone you can trust very well. So, those are different little things you can do to kind of explore more about yourself. And be willing to go into those things and actually um, use that to get to know yourself. And, you know, another thing is why? Why should you do this? Why would I want to do this? I would say you would want to because you get to understand more of who you are, how unique you are, the experiences that you had, how you can use that to help fellow man, the people around you, and just do what you're called to do. Also, if you start to know more about yourself, that will create a ripple effect, and now you are creating this ripple effect for other people to get to know themselves, because there's a lot of people who are lost and they have no idea what they want or who they are, and it's about that time that people start doing it. So hopefully this helped. May you all have an amazing night, amazing evening, and I will make a video soon. All right, later.